All right. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining. My name is Pawan Ubroy. We are going to talk about whiteboard.chat for beginners. This is the agenda we'll go through. We'll demonstrate all of the basic features of whiteboard.chat. We'll invite you to experience it live with us as we are demonstrating the features. And we'll do question and answers throughout. So I have my colleague Sid here on with me, and he can periodically read out questions from the chat. So I request you please type all your questions on the Zoom chat, and we can club them together and answer them as we go along. We also stay back 30 minutes past the top of the hour to answer any specific questions that you have which we haven't covered. So you're welcome to stay back if we haven't answered any of your questions. Where does whiteboard.chat fit in the virtual class ecosystem? It's primarily an observability and an engagement platform. It works really well with all the communication tools out there. It works really well with the LMSs that also exist out there. We'll show you how typically teachers use it with different LMSs, and we are using it right now, as you see, with Zoom. But this is the marquee feature of whiteboard.chat, the ability for the teacher to create a lesson really easily and to observe each student as they work on their individual copies of this lesson as they're working live through it, right? You can also do group activities. You can do, you can join the students on their board, work with them on one-on-one basis, but essentially the ability to observe the students as they're progressing through the environment is the most appreciated feature of whiteboard.chat, and that brings in the engagement as well. It's a fairly new platform. I think it's about 7 to 8 months old. We are growing primarily by word of mouth around the world. Right? There's a Facebook community that guides us and tells us what to do. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram and Twitter, or join if you like the platform. I highly encourage you to join this Teachers Using Whiteboard.chat on Facebook. We can also send us email anytime at this email address, feedback@whiteboard.chat. You can do that if you want a PD certificate for the training today as well. You can just email it to us and then we'll send you back a PD certificate. That said, let me get started with the platform. So it's a browser-based platform, whiteboard.chat. You can just go to whiteboard.chat from any web browser and any device. So it works across all sets of devices on Chromebooks, on iPads, on PCs, on Macs. And there are two modes that it works in. One is the collaboration mode, which is more like a traditional whiteboard where everybody ends up on the same board, but you can write on top of each other, you can erase each other's drawings and so forth. And then there is this teaching mode where you can create, assign, and live teach individual student boards. And we are going to focus primarily on that teaching mode today in this webinar. You can also do in the teaching mode, you can also do group activities, which we'll show you quickly while we are showing you some of the features. Right, so you click start teaching. You don't need an account. Teachers don't need an account if they don't want to save the work. Students never need an account to sign in, right? So you get a whiteboard immediately where you can use your mouse or trackpad to draw or styluses. You can type anywhere on the screen. It puts a text box which you can resize, right? And then you can type whatever you want automatically. You don't have to pre-create text boxes. You can just place your mouse anywhere and start typing. It'll create a text box for you. On the bottom right here are the basic tools where you can change the color. For example, if I change the color of my pen, the whole interface changes as well, which some people like, some people don't like. You can change that in the settings here if you want to. You can change the opacity, the thickness of the brush. So if you want to make it thicker, you can do that. Right. You can change the opacity. So if you want to make it like a highlighter, you can do that as well. So you can highlight certain sections. And of course, you can change the size of the font as well. Right? So there are the basic 3 tools here on the bottom right. The main toolbar is here on the left-hand side, which I will show you. The way most teachers use whiteboard.chat is by uploading content. So you can upload files. You click this upload button, either from the computer or from Google Drive. You say from computer, if you have a PDF or an image file, you can directly upload it. If the PDF has multiple pages, so if you have converted a Google slide into a PDF, it has multiple pages. For each page in the PDF, whiteboard.chat creates a page automatically. So I had 3 pages, you see I have 3 pages created here, right? And I can start drawing, annotating on it, I can start typing on it, I can do everything right away on the whiteboard, right? So you don't have to do anything and you can start typing on top of the PDF right away. And then you can invite students to the class. Once you're prepared for the lesson, you can invite the students, and you do so by clicking this invite button on the top right. Right? And there are various different options. You can use the QR code, or if you use Google Classroom, or Teams, you can directly share from here as well. Or you can copy this link. This is what most teachers do. Copy this link, click this button, and put that in your LMS. Or you can share it on chat. So I'm going to share it with Sid, who's going to dial in as a pretend student. Right? And I will also open another browser window on the side, so you can see from a student's perspective what this looks like. And so I opened an incognito window and I joined as a student, right? And then when the students join for the first time, they'll be asked for an identifier, so they can be identified to the teacher. They can use anything, first name, ID, and then you see that they get a copy of the board immediately, right? So they can draw, they can start annotating immediately. Of course, let me change the color so you can see me more clearly the student experience, right? They can start typing on it, they can start drawing on it, but they cannot erase. So as a student, they cannot erase any of the work that the teacher has done, right? Or they cannot move the PDF, they cannot move the background, none of that stuff, right? They have their own copy, they can work on their copy. They cannot see other students, they only see their own work, right? And as a teacher, the teacher has the ability to go into this thing we call the grid view, right? And in the grid view, the teachers can watch the students live as they're working through the lesson. You can see Sid is doing, making something, right? The student, if they were to draw something here, you can actually see it live, right? If they go to another page on their assignment, you can actually see that they're on a different page working on the assignment, right? And as a teacher, you can join them on their board. You can say, hey, I want to join them on their board. You can go give them feedback right there on the board, right? You can say, the text tool, good job. And then you can give them stickers. So we have hundreds of stickers here, which I will show you in more detail, but you can use the feedback sticker, for example. You can say amazing work, right? And put that on there thing. And that's it. And then you can go back to the grid view and keep watching the rest of the class, right? And the students also have the ability to raise their hand. They can raise their hand to say, hey, I need help, or they can signal to the teacher they finished their work. We recently added this as well. If they want to request for a bathroom break, they can actually request that as well. So you can see in chronological order what the students need on the teacher's board as well. So I'll stop here for a second and see if there are any questions before I proceed.
Yeah, Pawan, so there's this question about whether a board can be set for students to collaborate, but I think you'll get to it later in the webinar, so maybe you can keep going.
Yes, we can create group boards, which I will show you in a second as well, where the students can collaborate with each other, and still the teacher has more control so that students can't erase each other's work. They cannot, and teachers still know who did what. Right? Okay, then I'll show you some of the other tools that you have as a teacher to use to prepare for your lesson. Right, so you can open up this toolbar on the left by clicking this top icon. You can see what these things mean if you're not familiar with the tool. You can make some of these tools your favorite. So if you want to always use, let's say, the text tool, it'll go to the top, so you don't have to navigate through whatever your favorite tools are. Let's go open the tools menu. You can see a whole bunch of tools here. You have line drawing tools, we have arrows, we have a select crop tool built in. There's a rich text editor. So if you want to type longer paragraphs, right, or better formatting of text, you can actually use the rich text editor to do that. We have the ability to there's an infinite cloner built in, so you can use that on objects or drawings or anything. So for example, if I were to, let's put a manipulative here and put a one block, for example, and then you can use the infinite cloner to make copies of it really easily. Again, this is for the teachers to use. For the students, there are a much easier way, which I will show you as well, where they can make copies of objects really easily. You can create links. You can create a link to an external website, a different page in the book. So if you want the students go to a particular page, you can create, for example, you can, or you can do auto corrections. We cover auto corrections in our advanced webinar. So either you can see our advanced webinar, or I'll quickly show you if we have time in the end, where you can create a auto correcting board with either drag and drop objects um, or with text boxes. So you see I created a link to Google. If the student click that, they'll be taken to Google in a separate tab, and then they close it, it'll come back. You can embed YouTube videos. So if you want to have a YouTube video as part of your lesson, you can just pick any YouTube video, right? Right, so you can put the YouTube video here. You can actually specify the time. So if you don't want to watch the kids to watch the whole video, you can say start at time 10 seconds, end at time 30 seconds, and only that duration of the video will play. So on the student side, all the ads are removed. Only it'll start at the time you specified and the end time that you specified. So they can watch the YouTube videos right inside whiteboard.chat itself, right? You can embed external websites. So you can embed, for example, if you want to, there are these math learning center apps, or you can actually put in Google Slides as well. You can embed those right in here, right? And the students can use them for whatever purposes that you want, right? So you can embed external websites, Wikipedia links, anything inside, so people can watch it. There's a math editor built in. There's dice built in as well, so you can use dice. There are two types of dice. This is one of them, which you can say how many you want. You can program it to roll certain numbers. Then there is another. You can hide it from here. There's a math editor built in. This math editor is super powerful to create equations if you want to, right? So you can create equations out of it. There is a, on these three dots menu here, the actions menu. If you click that and click help, there's a detailed documentation. There's a downloadable teacher's guide, a student guide, a math input guide. So if you open that, you can actually see how you can type quadratic equations, polynomials, fractions, summations, integrals, whatever else you can want from the math editor, right? Chemistry teachers also use this for chemistry equations with subscript and superscript as well. So it's quite useful. And then there is an ability for younger children to do text boxes. So you can actually have a predefined text box, right, where the students can type their answers. They don't need to set up anything there. You can also set these up for auto correction. So if you want to say, hey, add answers and points. So this is worth 2 points. The right answer, let's say, is ABC. Right? And then the students type ABC, right? You can auto correct that their work as well. So you can go here and say, oops, I'm doing it on the teaching instructor book. Let me do that again. Page number 5. So you can put a text box here. You can say right click it and say add answers and points. This is worth 1 point. Our right answer is ABC. Right? And I can also create a link so that students can do their own auto correction. So I don't need to do it. Right? I can create an add link button here and say auto correct. Right? I'll create a button for them. So if they type ABC, and then they can click this button and say, hey, so they got the answer right. So they also know how many attempts they made to get the right answer. Right? So it's super easy for you to observe, again, from a grid view, students doing their work, progressing through their assignment. You can use this auto correction feature in conjunction with the password feature that we have to create digital escape rooms, right? We have examples of that on our YouTube videos, on our YouTube channel as well. So you can see that. You can see all the kids working through the lesson. I'll stop for a second and see if there are any questions, Sid.
Yes, Ron. Can you insert a PowerPoint from Dropbox or OneDrive?
So not at this moment. We are working with Microsoft to see if there is a way to convert, use PowerPoint inside this as well. So maybe in a few weeks we will have that. But you can always convert the PowerPoint to PDF and upload it. That's what more teachers do.
If there are multiple text boxes, does the autocorrect link correct them all at once?
Yes. So you can have another text box here. Right? You can say, let's say this guy, you can add answers. This is worth 2 points, and the answer is DEF, right? Let me mute participant. Okay, there you go. Okay, no. Okay. All right. So yeah, here if let's say the student didn't get it right, the DEG instead of DEF, right? Then they click the autocorrect link again. You see that it will mark this as red and say this is the wrong answer, right? So they got 0 points of that, and then they got 33%. So and then they have an attempt, they can correct it again, and then say, okay, now if I click it, now it goes back to 100%. So yeah, you can do multiple autocorrect boxes on the same page, right? And they'll all correct themselves. You can download these scores. So if you go to this download thing, there's a download report, which will have the scores for each of these pages per student, right? So you can actually get all of this information. We also calculate engagement scores for the students, how well they are engaging with the lesson. Are they paying attention? Are they typing? Are they drawing? Or they're away from the computer? And we base it on their peers. That is also included in that report. You can also download the whole thing as a PDF. The students also have the ability to download it as a PDF and save it for their own purposes or upload to Google Drive.
And Pawan, can you save a PowerPoint in a Google slide and upload that?
Yeah, you can download a PowerPoint. You can save a PowerPoint as a PDF and upload that. That's okay. That's possible. So you don't have to go to Google Drive or Google Slides too. All right. There's the ability to write software inside whiteboard.chat. So it creates a small text-based software window. We covered that in our advanced webinar too. Right. There's the ability to create post-it notes. So you create the post-it note and then you can type on it, right? And it'll create a post-it note with different colors. There are student signals built in. So this is interesting. One of our pioneer teachers from Malaysia gave us this idea, right? Where you can get a quick pulse of the class. So you can put a stoplight, for example, on the lesson and then see, hey, how well are the students understanding the thing? And they can light up different colors based on how well they understand. And you can get a quick pulse of the class to see how well they understand the lesson. There is the way to, in this one, there is a screen shade we recently added to. So you can actually create a screen shade. So you want to hide, for example, the answers from the students, and then you want to slowly reveal it. You can use that in person, in hybrid, or whichever way, right? So you can actually put a screen shade on top of the whiteboard as well. There are calculators built in. There's a basic calculator which does a basic calculation. There's a graphic GeoGebra calculator built in as well, so you can actually do graphing operations or scientific operations right in here on whiteboard.chat. So that's also useful. Let me clear everything. We have factories built in. These are really interesting factories. So you can actually have, remember, as a student, as a teacher, the students cannot move any of the objects that the teachers put, right? So you can put a factory here. So remember, all of these things are advanced features. You don't need to use any of these. You can just upload your PDF, use the drawing tool and text tool, and that's it, and observe the students, right? Most of the teachers use it like that. So these are some of the more advanced tools which you can choose to use or not choose to use. So you don't have to know all of these tools if you don't want it. And then you can hide from a student perspective. You can give, what we recommend is that there is a setting where students see very simple tools. So you can actually hide most of the tools from them. They see only 4 or 5 tools on their toolbar. Right? You can even customize it to the nth degree. You can just say, okay, only give them one tool like draw tool and text tool, and set their brush color, brush size, and font size. So it's not overwhelming for them. Right? So you can customize this completely. So this we have a ton of manipulators, but some of these some teachers wanted to create their own tiles. So we came up with this tile factory where there's a certain format that is listed here. You can create where you can then specify that students can clone these objects or move these objects, right? And then you can see that it creates these tiles which the students can use the move and resize tool to easily, you can move them around, right? So you can create your own tiles in different languages. You can put emojis in here if you want to. So all of that is possible, right? You can also make matching cards or flip cards with this as well, right? Which is quite interesting as well. Let me undo the setting for simple.
Actually, that was one question, Pawan. Can you show how to customize this student toolbox? We kind of almost showed that again.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure. So there are two options. So if you go into the settings here, what we say is that you can do, students can see very simple tools, which is just 4 or 5 tools that the student have access to. So this is a preset set of tools that the students get, like a text tool, a draw tool, an eraser, and a move and resize, and an add media. This add media is super interesting too. So you can use the add media to add webcam photos, for example, or videos right from the webcam. So if you're doing work with a real piece of paper and pen, you can embed that right into whiteboard.chat, right? So the students can add the picture. Oops, I didn't click this picture. Right, and then the teachers can see it and correct it and so forth. So there are these few tools that you can use, right? You can also add webcam audio and video. So if you want them to read out something, you can have them read it out as well. And if you want to customize even further, then you click this thing, customize menu option for students. And then you can specify which ones you want to disable. So if, for example, out of this, I don't want them to have access to the media, you can check it. You have to check the ones that you want to disable. And you want them, their brush color to always be black. Right, you can just specify that and save it. Right, and now you see that the brush color already changed to black, and it removed the media thing from here. So the students don't even have the ability to change colors anymore, right? They have to work with the black color that was specified. And you can undo that from here as well. Any other questions there?
Yes. Is there a way to know which student does a job on a board, or does a teacher have to rely on the name that they provide? What about students cheating about it?
Yeah, so you can, again, if students, if you want the students to log in, you can click again, go to the settings menu. You can say only logged in users can join board, and then they'll be forced to use a authenticated email or their Google account to log in to whiteboard.chat. So then you're for sure, you know who's doing the work. Right? That's what some teachers do with older kids.
And I think there's a question about, is it possible to send the board link? So I'm not sure whether the question was about sending the link to this board to everybody on the chat or just in general. You want to clarify that if you can, Mohan? Because Pawan will be sharing a board with all the participants later in the webinar as well. So we could get to that later.
Okay. Then there are more factories. There's a form factory where you can easily create forms. So for example, what did you eat for lunch? Right, you can say you can have check boxes or radio boxes in here. You can say I ate an apple, a banana, rice. Right, are you full? And then you have a radio button which has 2 options, right? So basically this form factory allows you to create forms. Let me undo the background. So with the very simple tools, the kids have very limited options. So, but it's good for beginners to start with. Right, so now it creates a really simple form, and the kids can pick that what all they ate, right? And then they can submit their answers. And you can also do text box based answers. So you can get results in text boxes, and then you can see what the names of the kids. Names are hidden by default, right? And then you can get a graph to show what was the results from people, right? And you can show the student names if you want to, and then you can see what was the answers. So, and then we have music instruments built in. There's a piano, there's a little xylophone built in, right? You can use that to practice music or just take a break if you want to. There are shapes built in. You can do circles, rectangles. There's a compass built in. You can draw polygons. There's a molecule editor built in, right? All of these features are requested by teachers, right? So you can actually have a a molecule editor in here where you can draw molecules, right, and then export them on whiteboard and see the answers and so forth. So it's quite interesting as well. There are a couple of more features here before I'll show you really quickly. There's this thing called the drop zone. So on the drop zone, it has multiple functions. One of the functions of the drop zone is that you can actually use it to do auto corrections, right? So you can create a drop zone. You can say add. Oh, so if I want my task is to make 112, the number 112 using the manipulators. So I go to the manipulators. I say there's 100, there's 1, 10 block, and 1 block, right? So the objects that you want students to move or clone, you have to enable the students to clone it. Right? So say enable student clone, and enable student clone. Right? So now these objects students can clone. I can resize them a little bit so it's not as big. This is another tool that you should use very often if you're new, the move and resize. You can set that as the default tool for you in the settings menu. That will make it more like a traditional whiteboard. And then you can say, okay, I want to create the answer. I can use the infinite cloner. You can say 100, 10, and 12. And this is the right answer. I want everybody to give me this answer. So you can say add answers and points. Right? Let's say this is worth 5 points. Right? And then those things will disappear. Again, I can put the autocorrect thing here. Either I can trigger the correction or the students can trigger it. Most teachers prefer students test it themselves, right? So they don't have to correct it. So you can put an autocorrect here, and that's it. And the students, then they can go and say, okay, let me try and make 112. I put these two, check the answer. No, it's not right, right? And then you can say, okay, let me put some more blocks in here. And now check. And then you got the right answer, right? So you can make, this is not only just from manipulators from us, you can do it with images that you download or paste from the internet. You can do anything. Basically, you can create any kind of assignment that you would want with the drop zone, right? So that makes it super interesting. There's also a way to use the drop zone as a counter, which I will show you. But before that, there's a breakdown tool that we recently added to. So you can actually break down these blocks into smaller. So if you want to break down the 100 block into tens or the tens block into ones, you can do that as well. And not only with manipulators, you can do that with currency as well. Right? So if you want them to teach kids how to break down currency, you can start with like a $20 bill, for example. We have Europe currencies from all around the world that you can do this with, right? If it is not there, we can add it. So you can see it breaks down to 2 5s, 5s break down to 5 1s, and then 4 quarters. So you can actually teach people more and more of the how things add up together or subtract together. We also have Microsoft's immersive reader built in. So any other text that is put in here, you can say, hey, read in immersive reader, right? And that opens up the immersive reader. If you're not familiar with Microsoft's immersive reader, it's super powerful. It can actually read it out in English or the same language. You can change the language where it can actually translate it. You can highlight verbs and grammar options, nouns and verbs separately. So this is super powerful as well for kids who are learning to read, right? So it makes it easy for them to understand what you're trying to say with PDFs, with text images, any of that stuff. So I'll pause again for a second and see if there are questions, Sid.
Yes. Does the auto counter work with euros?
Yes, the auto counter work with euros. Let's try it. You can say make auto counter here. Oh, this is the old one. I shouldn't use that. So you can go drop zone. you can say make auto counter. So auto counter is different from the auto correct. Auto correct works for sure with euros, but I don't know. So auto counter, what it does is that you can actually put things here and it'll count it for you. There's $1.50, right? Oops. So this is like 70. So it'll count it for you what values you're putting in there. Should do this on the student side. Let me do that one more time. Sorry. Say make auto counter, and you can go to euros. I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't work right now. We can add that if you're interested. We can really easily add euros to the auto counter, but it does work with manipulatives. So, for example, even with algebraic tiles, it works with algebraic tiles to create equations. It works with place value numbers. It works with fraction tiles. All of that it works with.
Okay. And does the immersive reader work with math text?
No, it doesn't read math. It reads regular text, but the math input, I don't think it'll read properly. Okay. Yeah, we can add euros to it. All right, I think so. Those are like some of the main things. You can set backgrounds. You can set grids as backgrounds. So you can set a regular grid. You can set a handwriting grid if you want to. You can even set a college line grid, right? Like make it look like a notebook. You can set coordinate planes, which you can program. You can say, hey, I want 5. Let me clear this thing first. Right, so you can create coordinate planes. We have music sheets. You can do music sheets. You can also set the background color if you want to. You can set the background color to a different color from here. We also have the ability to create an audio video call inside whiteboard.chat. Okay, so I think there was a question about the group boards. Let me show you the group board. So if you want to create a group activity, we cover most of this in our advanced webinar, but I can quickly show you. So you can go to the participants panel, from which in the participants panel, you can do several things. You can showcase a student's work. You can say somebody is doing really well, Sid, for example, and then it updates everybody's board to Sid's board, right? And you can, but his name is hidden, right? So you don't know whose the board it is, and you can stop showcasing it. You can also make a co-teacher. So if you want a student, students cannot see each other, right? Participants cannot see each other. But if you have a co-teacher, you can make somebody a co-teacher, and then they have the same tools as the teacher. They have the ability to go into grid view. They can help out where they need to. So all of that is available to them. You can create chat from here. So this chat is pretty amazing, where you can chat with, as a teacher, you can chat with all the students in but the students can only chat back to the teacher, right? Or you can also talk one-on-one or with a subset of students, but you can also set the language. The recipient can pick the language that if they're learning English, for example, or they speak a different language, it will translate live chat to whatever language that the recipient picks, right? So you can use to converse with different students in different languages. We also have speech to text that you can enable, right? You can enable speech to text from the menu here. And in the speech to text, it actually does, so if I use a text box, for example, you can see that you can pick your language. You know, hundreds of different languages. I'll pick Hindi. And you can also make it translate to a different language. So if, and then you can say, Mera naam Pawan hai. Oops, that didn't work. Okay, now try again. Mera naam Pawan hai. Yeah, so maybe the translation is not working. We'll take a look, but it should translate it into a different language as well, right? As you're typing your language. And you can create follow teacher mode, but basically if you want to make it a teacher paced assignment, where if you are on page 1, everybody's on page 1. If you go to page 2, everybody goes to page 2, right? And so forth. So you can make it teacher paced, where you make the students follow where you are, which page you are on. And you can create group boards here as well. So if you create a group board, you can pre-create group boards. So before you start a lesson, the students will be asked for the group that they are part of. Or you can create this auto create is the easiest way. So you can say, hey, I want 5 students in each of these groups, and the auto create will randomly pick 5 students and put them on a group board, right? It will create, because I only have 2 students, it just created one group board called auto 1, right? Now on this group board, you can see that, let me change my color to something else. Right, you can see that now Sid and I are collaborating, right? You can see Sid's mouse here, right? And then you can see he's drawing something. But even on the group boards, when you're doing group games, you can use this in conjunction with, we have a bunch of active widgets. So if I go back to manipulatives, right, you can see we have a bunch of widgets here. So I can, for example, put a spinner here if you want to, right, on the group board. And I can say sync student spin, the page 3. So if I were to go to the page 3, you can see that you can do group games. Teachers create group games, bump games, stuff like that, right? And you can see who spun the spinner and so forth. So it's quite interesting. And as a teacher, so even on the group boards, if I go back to page number 1, where Sid was drawing this flower, and I try to erase it. So if I try to erase his drawing, I cannot erase anything that Sid put, right? I can only erase the things I put as a student. And the teacher has the ability to join the group board, right? And even on the group boards, they can see who did what, right? So if they use the select tool, you can see, hey, this was last updated by Sid. So that way, even on the group activities, you are familiar with which students are doing what, and keep an eye on that as well. We also have timers in whiteboard.chat. You can actually say, start a timer. So for group activities or for regular activities, everybody will see the timers. The kids have their own timers, and there are various different options that we have for the timers. And once you're done with the group activity, you can hit this trash icon. It doesn't delete the group, but it will send the students back to their individual boards, right? So they can continue off doing their individual work. And all of the work that you do as a teacher gets saved in this manage board. So if I were to call this April 7th, right, your work as well as all the students' work automatically gets saved. So if I were to go to this manage boards, you can see April 7th, I have the group board and all of the students' work saved here with me. Right, so and I can see all of their work at any time. So even if they're working asynchronously, the students are working on their own, all of the work gets saved automatically. And then I'll show you, so is there any questions?
There is one. So can students in a group chat with each other and create video calls?
So students in the group, if you are, the teacher has to enable the chat. So once the teacher enables the chat, the students in the group can chat with each other, but the teacher still gets a copy of it. Right, the same with the video call. So you can, the teacher has to enable the video call. So if you go here and say start audio call or video call, and you create a group, it will create a separate breakout room automatically for each group, and they can talk to each other, but the teacher has to enable it. The students cannot do that.
Thanks, man. You can keep going.
Right, and then there are like tons and tons of active and passive manipulators. I showed you some of them. There's things like there's music symbols, right? You can use music symbols. Any of these objects that I'm putting on the screen can be animated as well. So you can just for fun, you can animate them. You can move them. You can even put external images, cut paste external images and manipulate, animate them. There's letters of the alphabet. There's magnetic letters. There's magnetic letters in different colors. There's alphabets. There's phonograms. There's math manipulators, which I showed you, right? Like there's also protractors, rulers, set squares, right? We keep adding new and new stuff to this when teachers ask. You can add your own objects into the library as well. You can just right click and say add to palette, and you can create your own. I think you have place value discs and decimals.
Pawan, can you add your own image as well and animate it?
Yeah, you can. You can just go to. Let's pick something. Right? You can use a snip tool, for example. You can paste it here, right? And then you can animate it. You can say animate move. It'll draw a path, and then the squirrel will move around. Like that. You can also add the squirrel to your palette if you want to, right? So that you can reuse it again and again. So there are number lines. There's fraction tiles, there's snaps, there's fraction circles, right? There's touch point numbers, 100 charts, 200 charts, multiplication charts, also a thermometer here. So all of these things teachers keep asking and we keep putting back. There are reward stickers, the 3D shapes, there's game, there's currencies from around the world, right? There are experiments like beakers and flasks and test tubes and stuff, electrical symbols, chemistry symbols, right? Periodic tables. We have biology, DNA construction. We have robots that you can program, right? We have different languages. We have sign languages as well, right? So we have animal stickers. We put seasonal stickers as well when teachers ask. So we have Passover stickers, for example, and holy stickers, which should take out right now. We have emojis. We have some mind maps. We have some icons. So if you want to highlight certain sections for the kids to see the icon, hey, click this thing, right? So you can just pick that and say, okay, use this tool from here. So it's easy to pick icons from our own library. And we have widgets, like we have student with name spinner, which automatically gets filled in with all the participants of that board, right? So if you want to randomly select people, it will use that. There's a dice that you can program to do fraction dice. You can make it do alphabets, anything that you want, right? You can use that to numbers, whole numbers, tens, whatever else you want to specify. So all of these are active widgets which are built in. You can use all of these in conjunction with the background, with the group to create games, all of those things. So it's quite encompassing. Lots and lots of, there are about 200 odd features we added into this platform based on teachers' requests from around the world. Is there any more questions?
No more questions. Maybe you want to do the bingo board.
Yeah. So what I'll do is that I'll basically let me set the settings to very simple tools, so you can see what it is like. Right. I can set the default tool to move and resize, which we recommend for new users. Right, and hit save. Now, if I go to create a new board, so what some teachers do is this, we have a special thing called a bingo board where you can download bingo tiles where each page of the bingo of the PDF is a different bingo tile, right? So you see that each of these are different, and you can upload that to whiteboard.chat. You can say, look, you can go to manage board, or in the manage board, you can send copies of your boards to your co-teachers. You can create your own copies. You can create time machine where you can go backwards and forwards in time to see how things are working. But you can also upload bingo, right? So if you say upload bingo and you point it to this animal feelings bingo, then for each participant that joins this board, they will get a random copy of it, right? And then you can watch the students as they're playing live this bingo. You see that these two are different. Either they can draw, they can use the draw tool to draw on it, or you can actually put some manipulatives or stickers on it for them to move around. So I can do both. So you can play with it and see. Let's see some holy stickers, fireworks, maybe. Right, and then you can say enable student clone, and this one also enable student clone, so that students can move those objects. Otherwise students cannot move anything that the teachers put. So I'm going to put the link to this board on the chat so you can join it and see how it works as a student, from a student's perspective, right? And as a teacher, I can watch everybody as they're joining and working on their grids in this view. I can change the size of the grid. I can make it 5x6 if I have a lot of kids, or you can make it whatever size you want, and you can watch as people are joining and playing bingo on the boards. These are the scores that I was talking about. You can actually see that the scores are automatically created based on how much activity the students are doing on their boards. So you can actually watch the, even in the grid view, it updates every minute to see which students are actually doing something or not doing anything on their boards. Right? And there's a report as well that you can see after some time. Any other questions, Sid?
No, nothing beyond that one so far.
And if you have multiple, so if you have more than 30 students, or if you have lesser grid size, you can cycle through the grids in this grid view using the same page buttons. You'll have multiple pages.
Maybe we can answer some of the questions that came to the webinar registration. So one was, are all the features available for free?
Yes, so whiteboard.chat is completely free. We don't charge educators any money for it. All the features are completely free. We recently, we do delete because we pay for the cloud costs on our own from our own pockets. So we just recently added storage plans. So by default, all the boards get deleted in 2 weeks. But as a user, you have the ability to go refresh them. So you can go here and say refresh this, but you have to manually keep refreshing, right? And when you hit refresh, it'll refresh it for a month, right? And then you have to keep refreshing as it gets close to deletion. So we recently added these storage plans. So to say, if you want to buy perpetual storage, then you can just pay for it, saying like, but you don't need to use it. All the features are completely free. It's just for teachers who don't want the headache of keeping to refresh their boards. Anything else, Sid?
Yes, I'm just looking at those questions as well to see how does the teacher save students' work?
So the work gets saved automatically. Like I was saying, in the grid view, in the manage boards, the works automatically get saved even if the student is working asynchronously on their work. It keeps getting updated with the teacher board. But the students or the teacher have the ability to download their work as PDF as well, and then upload it to Google Classroom or wherever else they would want to.
Can the students use it even if they don't have an account?
Yes,
Is it usable by students of grade 1 or 2?
yes. We test it on kids from kindergarten. We have our own kids. We test it on. We made it for them to start off with. So yeah, it works from all the way from K through 12 to even universities.
Could you demonstrate how to resize a text box?
So the only way you can resize the text box is while you're typing. So if you're typing on something, right, so if you use the text box, so you have to use the bottom right corner and resize it.
There's a question, how do you connect with Google Classroom?
So if you click the invite button right here, you can say classroom, right? You can share the thing in the Google Classroom directly from here. So it will take you to Google Classroom. You can pick your class, and then you can say, hey, I want to create an assignment, make an announcement, all of that from there. Or you can copy this invite and put that there as well, whichever way you choose. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. I think we covered all we wanted to. Thank you for attending, all of you guys. We'll stay here for 10-15 minutes if you have questions. If not, thank you for attending.